Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to the 132nd episode of Tuesdays with Toby. My name is Toby Frierson, and as I say each week, I'm thrilled to be back before you today with another message. I am super excited about our setting and our backdrop for tonight because this is one of my most favorite places on earth. In much earlier episodes, I'm talking like 2 years ago, I told you all that one of my favorite places is going to a rooftop in any city actually that is a port city, if you will. So I lived in Savannah for 6 years, going to a rooftop and just waiting for the cargo ships to come. That is absolutely one of my like recharge moments, a pastime for me for sure. But second to that, yeah, second to that for sure, would be the beach, anybody's beach, but just being out there laying on the beach. And then third to that, which just really shouldn't be third because this is a really big deal. Y'all, it's coming back home to Sumter, South Carolina, and being able to come in the room that I was raised in. I remember so many different iterations of this room, right? From the colors on the wall to what things look like in the closet and how things were laid out. The closet is full of my mother's things now, so of course it didn't look like that. But behind you though, and I don't know what made her do this, behind you, my mother decided to keep my bookshelf pretty much the same as it's been. And I'm gonna like flip the camera in just a second and show you some of the things that I used to read and used to be super excited about as a child. But my bookshelf has kind of remained constant. Up to the top there, you see a little black doll. I don't know where she found that doll in the early 80s because, well, if anybody raised kids in the 80s, you know you couldn't walk in a store and find a doll. As a matter of fact, when I show her to you, she might have been made. There's 3 little black dolls up there, and I think my Cabbage Patch Kid is still up there too. But hey guys, you've got the picture by now. I am home. We're gonna get into this message today talking about childhood memories. And as I speak to you all, I want you to start thinking about your own childhood. Now you might be like, oh, Toby, I never think about my childhood. It was absolutely traumatic. You wouldn't believe the types of things that happened to me. Guys, come on. Like that's human experience. We don't have to go toe for toe, right? You definitely may have had a very rough childhood and really bad, horrible things, and that's not a good place for you. But definitely all of us have those pockets of moments. But I don't want you to think about the trauma today. I want you to think about the thing that put a smile on your face, the thing that was super exciting for you and perhaps your siblings if you got a chance to grow up in a house with others, or if you were only and they were neighborhood friends or friends in the community or friends at school or friends at church. We're going to take it back today for childhood memories. But before we take it back, we missed this last week and I also missed saying it. We got to say our family rule. So you're not going to look behind me. Just repeat after me. During Tuesdays with Toby, we will use kind words, do your best, always be honest, forgive and forget, be happy, count your blessings, laugh at yourself, stay positive, and love one another. All right, I'm super excited to get into this episode today. I am just really thrilled. Come on, just kind of put your memory cap on, if you will. And like I said, we're going to avoid those bad memories because I want to acknowledge that. I want to acknowledge that there's definitely been pain, trauma, and all types of things that have been a part of our childhood. Or if we're adults listening, which kids aren't watching Tuesdays with Toby, but that's a part of life. But I don't want to downplay it either. But that's not the hat we're putting on today. We're putting on that hat where I want you to think about the sights. I want you to think about the sounds that you heard as a kid. I definitely want you to think about those flavors. So I don't know who the cooks were in your family or whether even the home had a certain food scent, particularly if you had parents who cooked in the house. Like, go back with me to kind of think about those moments because that is really what I am reliving right now in this moment. Mom cooked up something in there. I can smell it. I'm reliving that in this moment, but also just like the physical aesthetics. Where did you lay your head down at night? Did you have bunk beds? Man, I thought bunk beds were the coolest things ever. I had some cousins who had bunk beds at their house, and I'm like, man, that's really the high life. I had a twin bed, and then after that twin bed, I had a full bed. But at any rate, I never had a bunk bed. But those are the things I want you to be thinking about. And then artifacts. I pulled old girl down in the intro. You saw that she was up there. So Exhibit A. She's actually heavy. She's super heavy. I wore my hair braided as a child. So now, look, I'm not that savvy with these videos where I'm like, oh, after you get your hair braided, make sure you go talk about a childhood video and then you're actually going to look like little Toby. I've got braided Toby over here somewhere. Yeah, I'll show her to you in a minute. But look at her hair. Look at this. She's heavy, y'all. I don't know, like if you had an infant child right now, like she'd kind of be about the size of the infant child. Yo, while I'm doing this, I am cracking up because I love this thing so much. And I wasn't a huge doll person. Let's start there. I was definitely more of, my brother was 4 years older, so I grew up with a sibling. So yeah, I was one of those folks who was fortunate enough to have somebody else in the house to get in trouble with and try to deflect, right? When my mom came asking who did it, at least both of us had this thing going on. Marlo, you know I love you. But Exhibit A, she was one of my dolls. I had 3 dolls, y'all. 3 dolls. Everything else was art set, music, something or whatever, and a lot of sports equipment. This is said Cabbage Patch Kid. Look at her. Now, the cool part about my Cabbage Patch doll, I have an aunt who is a seamstress. Her name is Aunt Dolly. And I don't know who came up with this idea. Aunt Dolly made all my clothes when I was a kid. I was very awkwardly shaped as a child. Maybe not even so much awkwardly shaped. I was just a little bit larger. And so I couldn't wear a lot of the kid clothes. So she would make dresses for me for church, and she would make my clothing, period. Like there was something called jams back in the 80s. They had all kinds of like print on them. I don't even know how to describe jams, but I remember having like a favorite pair of jam shorts that she made for me. I'm all off subject right now because I'm super excited. Let me come down. This, somehow, Aunt Dolly was like, oh, I've got extra material with the dress that I just made you for church. Would you like a dress for your doll baby? Are you kidding me? Did anybody else out there have matching dresses with their doll baby? So this is actually said dress. I wonder if this blue-green dress is still in the house somewhere. I doubt it. And I don't even know how old I would have been when I got a chance to take her to church with me because we had the same dress on. That was a part of my childhood. And then lastly, this guy. I remember him from super young. Rag Mop Kid, I believe that's what yes, I got it right. This was a Rag Mop Kid. He was my only boy doll. You see how he's kind of ragging around or whatever. And this guy went with me to We Academy. And We Academy is a place that I went to in Manning, South Carolina before I even started like kindergarten. So I was that kind of young at We Academy. And I remember having my Rag Mop Kid with me. He was a pretty big deal. So those things are just a few things out of my childhood that I remember. The sounds that I talked about. We live close to train tracks. So train tracks evoke a very fond memory for me, train tracks. Hearing the train coming on the tracks evoke a very fond memory for me because literally they're like right outside of my bedroom window. Across the next street is trains. So whenever I hear the train coming, it's like, oh, home, right? I told you smells of food. My mother is a wonderful cook, which might be why Aunt Dolly was making my clothes because, okay, we're not going to go back to that. But mom's a great cook, and so the house was always filled with some type of savory something. And then another part of it, let me take the camera down and show you the bookshelf. I say I love to read as a child. We were made to read as kids, and so I found the things that I like to read and the things that I like to get into because I had to read. And so let me show you what I used to read. First and foremost, as a kid, when I would hear something or whatever, and Mom, what's so-and-so and so? The response back would be, look it up. And the look it up, y'all, was me going and figuring out, okay, what letter does that word start with? And where can I find that in? You got it, the encyclopedia. This is the first version of Google. This is it. This is it right here. Then we had what we call like junior classics. I don't think I read all these guys. I'm pretty sure my brother read all the junior classics. I don't remember reading all these, but I did have a favorite one. I think, yes, the Once Upon a Time, the Reverend right there. I remember really enjoying that guy. These were some kind of science books. I think when we got hurt and stuff, she would look up stuff. Mom would look up stuff in there. And then that good old Webster's, how do you spell so-and-so? Did you go to the dictionary? We'll go and call back. All-time favorites. Do not know where she found these. The cool things about these books, they had like something that the parent could read. And then they had it in like a kid version so the kids could read as well. So these white books were awesome. And then y'all, these are the for real classics. Check this out. Check this out. Jack and the Beanstalk. Come on. Cinderella. What? Little Red Riding Hood. Are you kidding me? How about Snow White? Oh my gosh. Is there more? Rumpelstiltskin. Like, y'all, literally, I think I'm going to read some of this stuff tonight. The Fisher... Oh, that got me. Y'all, if somebody knows who the fisherman and his wife was, and then Benji and Bubbles. Wait, Benji and Bubble. No, don't remember that one, guys. I'm not even going to fake it. Sleeping Beauty, of course. And then lastly, Hansel and Gretel. Come on. Notice the Marlo and Toby. That was a feud. Every time one of us got something or whatever, there was just like a, you know, kind of like a, that's mine, that's mine. We go to middle school now. These were all elementary school. These were all early years. We go to middle school now, and y'all, I got into the R.L. Stine murder mysteries, if you will. R.L. Stine was a teen writer, and he was really cool and like capturing people's attention like mine, who didn't really like to read a whole lot. So there's other stuff here, but I am just elated to be back in my room amongst all these things. Oh, the dolls are right here now. Amongst all these things. I showed you all that because I hope now that you are thinking about the things that you used to do as an early one. This was literally daycare for me, like as early on, and then all the way up into middle school. You don't see anything like high school or whatever reflected on my bookshelf, because by that time I was doing all that stuff on my own, right? No, my mom wasn't making me do anything, and I really wasn't in the house that much in high school either. I wasn't at all. And then after that, you leave home. Well, not everybody and not all the time, but after high school, I left home, and I'm back now. That sounds like I moved back home. I didn't move back home. I'm back now for a visit, and I'm back now, and I had to bring this childhood memories to you today for this episode of Tuesdays with Toby, and ask you to drop some of your fondest memories in the chat for me. We literally centered on my physical space as a child, right? We centered on my room and kind of artifacts and what's in here. But I could do a month-long episode of Tuesdays with Toby talking about my childhood. Oh my gosh. It was full of drama, trauma, excitement. It was really, really cool. I had a lot of high moments, and I had some low moments too. The low moments sounded like, get in that car, wait until we get home. Does anybody know what happened? Hey, y'all like, share, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching and keeping up with this channel. Hope you enjoyed childhood memories. Share yours with me. I'll see you back here next week. Take care, everybody.